What is the price of silence? For many of us, it's the small moments we start to lose. The garden we can no longer tend to. The flight of stairs that suddenly feels like a mountain. The walk with a loved one that gets cut short. I remember my moment of reckoning. It wasn't a dramatic chest-clutching scene. It was much quieter. It was the simple act of reading a bedtime story to my granddaughter. Halfway through, I felt a dull pressure, a thief stealing my breath so quietly, I almost convinced myself it was nothing. I told her, "Grandpa's just a little tired tonight." That was a lie. And the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves to avoid a terrifying truth, that inside our bodies, a silent clock is ticking. The slow, creeping advance of atherosclerosis is narrowing our pathways to life, threatening to steal our future, moment by moment. It's a thief that wants to rob you of graduations, weddings, and future bedtime stories. But what if I told you that we don't have to be silent victims? What if I told you that nature has already provided a blueprint to fight back, to heal your arteries, and to reclaim your future? Today, we are not just going to talk. We are going to arm ourselves. I am going to share with you a powerful, science-backed plan to help you avoid a heart attack. I'm giving you the Artery Restoration Blueprint, 5 humble vascular superfoods, guardians hiding in plain sight in your kitchen, that can turn the tables on this silent thief. And I need you to stay with me, because the 5th and final guardian is the most crucial. Modern medicine has studied it for its incredible ability to dismantle the very foundation of a deadly blood clot. But there is a common mistake, a way most people prepare it, that renders it almost useless. I will show you the right way, the way that unlocks its true protective power, at the very end of our talk today. This is the most important conversation we might ever have about our senior heart health. So let me ask you, what is the moment, the milestone, the memory that you refuse to let this thief steal from you? Declare it in the comments below. Let that be your why for watching this all the way through. Our body is much like a house. A house we've lived in for 60, 70, or even 80 years. The heart is the living room, where all the gatherings of life happen. The brain is the study, where all our memories are kept. But have you ever wondered about the plumbing system, hidden deep inside the walls of that house? What does it look like after all these years of use? Today, I invite you on a journey with me, a trip inside those walls, to see the real story unfolding within the plumbing system we call our arteries. When we are young, those pipes are smooth and clean. The flow of blood, like water, runs effortlessly, carrying oxygen and nutrients to every corner of our house body. But then, the years go by. High blood pressure acts like a current flowing too fast, day after day, eroding the pipes, creating tiny, invisible scratches inside the walls. Bad cholesterol, LDL, which I like to call grime and rust, begins to see an opportunity. It clings to those scratches. At first, it's just a thin layer. Then, gradually, that layer of rust thickens. Our body, in an attempt to defend itself, sends in a repair crew. But ironically, this crew uses that very grime and calcium to patch up the scratches, forming a hard plaque. A clumsy patch job. And just like that, our pipes, once a wide-open highway, have become a narrow alleyway. Its silence is the most frightening part. It doesn't cause pain. It doesn't sound an alarm. It just quietly takes from us, little by little. It's the reason for the shortness of breath when climbing the stairs. It's the cause of the persistent fatigue we blame on age. It's the culprit when our minds are not as sharp as they used to be, because the study isn't getting enough energy. Our heart, now like an old water pump, has to strain, working twice as hard just to push blood through that narrow alley. This is a direct threat to our heart health, a burden that none of us deserves to bear. And then, the worst can happen. One of those unstable plaques, one of those patches that has been eroding for too long, suddenly ruptures. Our body, in a natural reflex, immediately sends an emergency response team to seal the wound. That team creates a blood clot. It's meant to save us. But in an alleyway that is already so narrow, that blood clot becomes a giant roadblock. It completely blocks the flow. And that is the moment a heart attack happens. The living room of life suddenly loses all power. Everything goes dark. And it all started with a forgotten plumbing system. I know these things are not easy to hear. But to solve a problem, we must dare to look it straight in the eye. If what I've just shared through the house-body metaphor has helped you better understand what is happening, please let me know by typing the number 1 in the comments. Just the number 1. That tells me we are looking in the same direction. Because in a moment, we will stop talking about the problem. We are going to start talking about the solution. We are going to talk about the skilled work crews who can come in and begin the work of cleaning and repairing this entire plumbing system, restoring peace to our house. In the last part, we took a journey inside the plumbing system of the body and witnessed the formation of those dangerous plaques. But a thief never works alone. There are always accomplices, those who aid and abet the crime. Right now, let's turn on the lights and become detectives in our kitchens. We are going to create a most wanted list to identify the 3 most cunning accomplices, the ones who are helping atherosclerosis thrive day and night, perhaps without us even knowing. Wanted saboteur number 1, salt, the silent corroder. On most of our dining tables, there's a salt shaker. It looks so harmless, doesn't it? I used to be a man who was very generous with this shaker. A little on my eggs, a little in my soup. I thought it was the taste of life. But I was wrong. Salt isn't just something that raises blood pressure. Imagine it as a corrosive liquid. Little by little, day by day, it erodes the delicate protective lining inside our artery walls, creating countless tiny scratches. It is the one who opens the door, who clears the scene for the rust of cholesterol to find a place to cling. And the worst part is, this enemy isn't just in the salt shaker. It hides in slices of sandwich bread, in packets of instant soup, in the bottles of sauces we use every day. Wanted saboteur number 2, sugar and processed foods, the fire starter. The next culprit is even more cunning. He wears a cloak called convenience. These are the sweet biscuits, the sugary soft drinks, the frozen meals that need just a few minutes in the microwave. They promise to save us time, but they demand far too high a price for our heart health. Sugar and the chemicals in processed foods act like matchsticks. They constantly ignite quiet fires of inflammation deep inside our bodies. And where there is fire, there is destruction. It is this very inflammatory environment that is the perfect breeding ground for plaque to form and grow wildly. Wanted saboteur number 3, bad fats, the deadly glue. We've had the corroder, the fire starter, and here is the final one, the one who completes that deadly construction. I call it the glue. This is the trans fat and saturated fat found in fried foods, in industrial baked goods, in the fatty cuts of meat that we find so hard to refuse. If bad cholesterol is the sand and gravel, then this bad fat is the cement. It comes in, mixes, and turns the loose rust into a solid block of concrete, permanently stuck to the walls of our arteries. Salt, sugar, bad fats. 3 saboteurs. It sounds frightening and complicated, doesn't it? Let me ask you this, and please be honest. Have you ever picked up a package of food, looked at the ingredients list with its dozens of hard-to-read names, and felt completely helpless? If the answer is yes, please type yes in the comments for me. Just one word. So I know that I am not alone, and that you are not alone in this fight either. Because here is the good news. Once we know the faces of the saboteurs, we can take away their weapons. We can choose not to invite them into our house. But it's not enough to simply not invite them in. We need a powerful army to clean up the mess they have already left behind. And in the next part, we will meet the first hero in that army. When you think about fighting a serious disease inside your body, what kind of weapon comes to mind? Is it a complex, manufactured pill? Or perhaps the sharp scalpel of a surgeon? I used to think that way. I used to believe this fight was too big, requiring weapons too sophisticated for me to ever control. But my doctor looked at me and said something that changed me forever. He said, "Harold, the most powerful weapon you have to protect your heart. You already hold it in your hand 3 times a day." And he pointed to my fork. Today, we are going to learn how to use that fork as a weapon of life. And we will begin by meeting the first guardian, the most elite squadron for extinguishing the smoldering fires inside our arteries. Guardian number 1, fatty fish, salmon, cod, herring, the elite fire department. I call this guardian the fire department. Because, as we discussed in the last part, inflammation is the smoldering fire that is destroying our plumbing system. And this army, the omega-3 warriors found in fatty fish, is the number 1 expert at putting out that fire. I must confess, I used to be a steak man. Fish, to me, was always a bit light. But after my heart's warning, I decided to change. I replaced 2 steak dinners a week with 2 baked salmon dinners. And I felt the difference. Not immediately. It was a gradual change. I felt lighter. My breath seemed deeper. It wasn't magic, it was science at work. Picture it like this: inflammation is like small, smoldering embers in the lining of your arteries. Omega-3s are like a special firefighting foam that blankets and extinguishes those embers before they have a chance to erupt into a large fire and damage the artery walls. When there are no more fires, the rust of cholesterol has fewer opportunities to stick. By doing this, we not only slow down the formation of new plaque, but we also create the conditions for the body to heal arteries that were previously damaged. This is one of the most effective ways to improve blood flow to the heart. The American Heart Association has consistently affirmed the essential role of omega-3s in maintaining a healthy heart. They aren't just saying it, they're saying it based on thousands of studies. But how you command this fire department is also very important. The best way to preserve their full strength is to steam, bake, or lightly pan-sear them with a little olive oil. Do not deep fry them. That's like asking your firefighters to wade through a sea of flames. They'll lose all their strength before they even get to the fire. And if you can, prioritize wild-caught fish over farmed fish, as their natural diet gives them a higher concentration of omega-3s. Now, let me ask you a very simple question. Are you a fan of fish dishes? If yes, please type the word fish in the comments. Just the word fish. So I can see how many of my allies are here, ready with this first weapon. The fire department has arrived. But putting out the fire isn't enough, we also need to clean up the garbage and grime that the fire has caused. And that is the mission of the next guardian we are about to meet. In life, who are the heroes we often overlook? Is it the kind neighbor who waters our plants when we're away? Or the diligent mail carrier who comes every morning, rain or shine? They don't ask for recognition, they just quietly do their job. In the world of nutrition, it's the same. There is such a hero. A hero that isn't flashy, isn't expensive. A hero that is, perhaps, sitting quietly in the corner of your kitchen right now, waiting to be called upon. That is the humble bean. I remember when I was a boy, my mother used to cook sweet bean desserts or stews with beans and bones. To a young boy like me, it was just simple, cheap food that filled the belly. Now, at 76, after all I've been through, I finally understand the wisdom in my mother's cooking. It wasn't just love, it was medicine. It is one of the best ways to lower cholesterol naturally. Picture it this way, the soluble fiber found abundantly in beans acts like millions of tiny magnets floating in our bloodstream. These magnets have a special attraction to the rust of bad cholesterol, LDL. When they meet bad cholesterol, they cling to it tightly, giving it no chance to stick to and damage our artery walls. And finally, these silent heroes will escort that cholesterol garbage safely out of our house body through the digestive system. They clean our plumbing system from the inside. A simple job, yet it's a priceless protection for our hearts. So how do you recruit this hero into your army? It's very simple. You don't have to change everything all at once. Start by adding a few spoonfuls of cooked black beans to your lunch salad. Or cook a pot of lentil soup for the family's weekend dinner. Or simply replace a portion of white rice with beans. I promise you, your body will thank you for it. A small action, a great protection for the future. We all have memories connected to food. What is your favorite dish made from beans? Is it your mother's bean soup, or your grandmother's sticky rice with peanuts? Please share the name of that dish with me in the comments. And if you can't think of one, that's okay too. Just type the word bean, and I'll know that you are ready to welcome this hero into your life. We've had the fire department, and now the cleanup crew. But to truly make our plumbing system durable, we need engineers who can widen it and make it more flexible. And that is the next guardian, a surprisingly sweet one. When I was younger, I was a rather rigid man. I had my principles, and I rarely changed. That rigidity, I used to think, was a sign of strength. But life has taught me that true strength lies in flexibility. The ability to bend with the waves instead of fighting them. The ability to open your heart instead of closing it off. And you know what? Our arteries are the same way. Flexibility is the sign of a healthy, youthful artery. Once they become hardened and stiff, that's when the danger begins. And today, we are going to talk about a teacher, a surprisingly sweet savior, who can teach our arteries this very lesson of flexibility. Guardian number 3, dark chocolate, over 70% cacao, the artery widening engineer. Yes, you heard me right. Chocolate. I know what you're thinking. Harold, are you joking? Chocolate is a treat, something guilty. I understand, because I used to think the same way. As a boy, I used to sneak chocolate candies from my mother. As an adult, I always felt a twinge of guilt whenever I ate a piece. But now, my doctor is the one who prescribes it to me. It's a sweet irony of life, isn't it? But not all chocolate is a friend. The imposter is milk chocolate, full of sugar and very little cacao. Our true hero is dark chocolate, the bitter kind, with a cacao content of 70% or more. The flavonoids in cacao are brilliant magicians. When they enter the body, they stimulate the inner lining of the arteries to produce a miraculous molecule called nitric oxide. Imagine nitric oxide as a conductor, giving a gentle command to the smooth muscles of the artery walls: relax. Widen up. And immediately, our narrow alleyway widens, becoming a more spacious road. The blood flows through calmly, gently. The pressure on our heart pump decreases. That is precisely why dark chocolate has been shown to help lower blood pressure naturally. It teaches our arteries how to relax. So, how should this medicine be taken? Just 1 or 2 small squares a day is enough. Savor it slowly, letting the bitter taste melt on your tongue. And the most important thing, always read the label. Choose the one with the least amount of sugar possible. And stay away from milk chocolate, because the protein in milk can kidnap and neutralize those flavonoid magicians, preventing them from carrying out their mission. Are you surprised and a little happy to hear this? Does it feel like you've just been permitted to enjoy a small pleasure without the guilt? If yes, please type the number 2 in the comments for me. Just the number 2. So I know that this good news has brought a smile to your face today. We have cleaned up, we have put out the fire, and we have widened the road. But what about the old damages? We need an army that can patch up the scratches to repair the damage. And our next guardian is a brilliant recruiter for that repair army. In this noisy world, there is tremendous power in moments of stillness. Have you noticed? The most important decisions, the most profound ideas, or simply the most peaceful moments of our lives, often come to us over something warm. For me, it's over a cup of tea. The steam rising, the gentle aroma, and for those few short minutes, the world seems to slow down. It's not just a beverage. It's a ritual. An invitation for peace. And as I have discovered, it is also an invitation for healing from deep within. Guardian number 4, TEA, black and green, the recruiter for the repair crew. After my heart attack, there were mornings I would just sit quietly with my wife. We wouldn't say much, just drink our tea together. In those moments, I realized that the journey of artery recovery is not just a battle, it's also about nurturing peaceful moments like that. And magically, the very drink in my hands was a powerful ally on that journey. If the previous guardians were the fire department, the cleanup crew, the engineers, then T is the head of human resources. A very talented recruiter. What is the job of this recruiter? It is to call forth our body's original repair crew, the stem cells. These cells are like multi-talented handymen, they can patch up the scratches on our artery walls, repairing minor damage before it becomes a major problem. The polyphenol compounds in tea leaves, when they enter the body, send a signal to the bone marrow, where stem cells are produced, and say, "Hey, we need more repairmen out on the job site." And so, more workers are sent into the bloodstream, to patrol and to find any damage that needs to be fixed. The more repairmen we have on duty, the better our house body is protected. My habit is 1 cup of black tea in the morning, and sometimes a cup of green tea in the afternoon. You don't need much, just consistency. And here is a small but important secret: drink your tea plain, without sugar. And especially, do not add cow's milk. The protein in cow's milk can act like a cage, trapping all the good compounds in tea, preventing them from doing their job. If you want to add something, a little oat milk or soy milk would be a better choice. Now, just a quick question for fun. Are you on Team Tea or Team Coffee? If you are a tea lover like me, please type the number 3 in the comments. Just the number 3, so those of us with the same preference can find each other. We have the fire department, the cleanup crew, the engineers, and now the recruiter. The system is almost complete. But we are still missing the final, most important piece of the puzzle. That is the guard at the city gate, the one I promised to reveal to you. The one my doctor calls the genius traffic cop. A busy intersection at rush hour. What makes the difference between a slow but steady flow of traffic and a complete, total gridlock? It's a good traffic cop. Someone who knows when to wave traffic through, when to stop a reckless car to keep the whole system moving. It's the same in our bloodstream. The fight against heart disease isn't just about the slow cleanup. It's also about preventing a disaster that can happen in a split second. And now, it is time for us to meet that gatekeeper, that genius traffic cop I promised you. Guardian number 5, Garlic, the disaster prevention officer. The final hero on our list is Garlic. Why do I say this is the most important piece of the puzzle? Because a heart attack is not a slow-motion accident. It is an instant event. A total traffic jam, usually caused by a blood clot that forms suddenly. The previous guardians do the long-term work of cleaning and repairing. But Garlic performs an emergency task, preventing that very moment of disaster. The compound allicin inside garlic acts as one of nature's best natural blood thinners. It gives a firm command to the platelets, the cars, in our bloodstream, saying, "Hey, you, no clumping together for no reason." It keeps the traffic flowing smoothly, helping to prevent blood clots from forming. It is the last line of defense, but it is the most critical one. And here is the secret that very few people know, a secret that can determine the entire power of this guardian: never chop garlic and throw it into a hot pan immediately. High heat will destroy the precious allicin compound before it has a chance to form. The right way to do it is this: after chopping or crushing the garlic, let it rest on the cutting board for about 10 minutes. That waiting period is when the traffic cop allicin is fully activated. After those 10 minutes, you can cook with it as you normally would. Was this little secret about waiting 10 minutes truly helpful to you? If yes, please type the number 4 in the comments. Just the number 4. That will let me know that you've grasped the key to unlocking the full power of this final guardian. And now, our army is complete. 5 guardians are ready. But how do they work together to create a symphony? We will bring it all together in our final part. A single instrument can make a beautiful sound. A violin can draw out a melodious note. A drum can beat a steady rhythm. But only when they all blend, under the guidance of a conductor, do we get a symphony. And our health is the same. The 5 guardians we have just met do not work in isolation. They are the musicians in your heart's orchestra. Fatty fish is the warm sound of the violin, soothing and extinguishing the harsh notes of inflammation. Beans are the steady sound of the cello, diligently clearing out the background noise of cholesterol. Dark chocolate is the melodious flute, making the musical space expand, flexible, and more open. Tea is the stage manager, constantly calling the instrument repairmen, our stem cells, to ensure every instrument is in perfect working order. And garlic is the timpani drum, keeping the rhythm, ensuring this symphony never breaks its tempo or comes to an abrupt, sudden halt. Do you see? This isn't a list of foods. This is a piece of music. The music of life. The music of waking up in the morning is no longer tired. Of stairs that are no longer a challenge. Of moments of complete joy with your children and grandchildren. Information doesn't change us. Only a decision to act changes us. Today, you have all the information. Now it is time for you to make a decision. Are you ready to become the conductor of your own senior heart health symphony? If the answer is ready, please type the word ready for me in the comments below. Let that declaration be the very first note of a new symphony, one that is healthier and happier. And to help you begin immediately, in our final part, I will give you your very first conductor's baton. In the last part, we affirmed together that you are ready to become the conductor of your health symphony. But a conductor, no matter how talented, needs a baton to begin the symphony. And I will not let you leave here empty-handed. Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've undertaken in these brief 30 minutes. From the silent fear of what was happening inside the walls of our bodies, to turning on the lights together, identifying the saboteurs, and then meeting and getting to know each guardian, one by one. Now, you are no longer a stranger in your own house. You are the master. You are the protector. Hope has replaced confusion. Confidence has replaced fear. And to turn that confidence into concrete action, I have prepared a gift for you. It is your very first conductor's baton. I call it the First Week Action Plan, 5 Guardians for Your Heart. It is not a dry, 10-page medical document. It's just a simple memo. What to buy at the grocery store, a few meal ideas to save you from overthinking, and, most importantly, a reminder of the 10-minute secret for garlic. This is the most effective way to start and prevent heart disease. It is completely free, and it is located at the very first link in the description below this video. Please click on it and download it. That is your first step. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. If you would like to have companions, please join our family on Facebook, where we can share our small victories, like a successfully baked salmon or a delicious bean soup. The journey of 1,000 miles always begins with a single step. And your very next meal is that step. Thank you for spending your precious time with me today. Take care of yourself, and take care of each other. I'm Harold, and I am very proud to be on this journey with you.